Breaking news out of West Nashville this morning, where police are searching for that accused killer who may be with a 15-year-old girl. News Channel 5's Alexandra Cohen is tracking the search for the gunman and that teenager. But we start with Dan Kennedy live from the scene of the murder. And Dan, the story really escalated overnight.
It did. It started as a murder. Attempted robbery turned into a homicide at a well-known gas station for folks in the West Nashville area. Now it is a manhunt for the accused killer and an endangered teen he's with. A lot of that manhunt is focused at the Brookmead Elementary behind me, the old school. No students currently attending there. Alexandra Cohen going to have more on the ground search in just a moment. But right now I want to fill you in on what happened across the street at the Exxon gas station. Shortly before 10 o'clock last night is when police say 28-year-old Daniel Clark walked into that Exxon and shot and killed 58-year-old John Daniel Stevens, the clerk inside this gas station. Surveillance pictures show Clark walking into that store, and they say that he was also with 15-year-old Trinity Quinn. Now, Quinn is an endangered child out of Ray County, Tennessee. That's in the Dayton, Tennessee area, a rural area about an hour outside of Chattanooga. Well, she was last seen on Monday, and so police have been searching for her since then. They didn't know where she was until she popped up in these surveillance pictures last night with 28-year-old Daniel Clark. Now, after the fatal shooting, after police found John Daniel Stevens murdered inside his store, they found Clark's abandoned vehicle at a nearby parking lot, which is why officers had reason to believe overnight that the two, both Clark and Trinity Quinn, are on foot and in this area. It's important to remember for folks, especially in West Nashville, that Clark is to be considered armed and dangerous after police say he carried out this murder last night, and that's why they're scouring this area with all their resources. Earlier they had a chopper overhead, now they're on the ground. Alexandra Cohen is standing by just down the street from where I'm standing. And Alex, what are you seeing down there as far as officers in their search?
Dan, as you can imagine, they've gone scanner silent, so we aren't exactly sure where the SWAT team is searching at this moment, but this is a residential area, so people on Rodney Drive and Shawnee Drive in this area really need to be vigilant. I'm going to show you where Rodney Drive dead ends, and then it runs into Interstate 40, and then the road continues in a separate spot at Hapwood Drive and Rodney Drive. So officers are in this wooded area searching for that 15-year-old and the wanted suspected killer. Again, this is a very active investigation, and people who live here really need to be vigilant. If you see anything that looks suspicious, maybe an outdoor shed door is unlocked or it looks like it opened during the night, don't go outside and check it for yourself. Call Metro Police or call 911 if you see anything suspicious. Reporting in live drive, Alexandra Cohen, News Channel 5.
Alexandra, thank you. We have more breaking news from overnight on Airbnb in Nashville. Public comment for the ban on short-term rentals stretched on for more than 4 hours last night as people from both sides spoke out on the issue. A little before midnight, council members decided to push the vote to their next meeting on the 16th of this month. In our next half an hour, we will hear from both sides of that debate. Steve?
Amy, about 10 people are without a home this morning after a 3-alarm blaze ripped through a Hendersonville apartment complex yesterday afternoon. Some incredible footage coming out of Sky 5 yesterday when we were over the scene. The good news is, out of all of that damage you see right there, nobody was hurt. The fire broke out in the afternoon hours. The Hendersonville Fire Department bringing in 5 engines and a couple of trucks to deal with the blaze. Surrounding agencies also helped out. The most critical help came from 2 tower trucks. They were able to get above that fire, spray water down on it. Crews were fighting some strong winds, and that made it even more difficult.
Wind-driven fires are very, very dangerous. They get behind it, push the heat and the smoke. They're very dangerous for the personnel. They're very dangerous for the citizens. The construction of these apartments, they're just like residents. They're siding, they're tin. They melt, it just ignites and burns with ease. Again, the aerial devices is what saved this apartment complex.
Chief Scotty Bush there from Hendersonville. He and his crews are still investigating the cause of that blaze. But again, the good news, no injuries reported. Amy?
Ellington Parkway is back open this morning after detectives shut it down for about 4 hours for a murder investigation. Here's News Channel 5's Sophie Nielsen-Colding with the latest on a search for a killer.
On September 28th, a driver passing by here called police after they saw a white truck that had crashed up in those trees behind me on Ellington Parkway near the Briley Parkway exit. But when officers got there, they found out the driver, Ryan Trent, had actually been shot, and they still don't know who shot and killed him. In an effort to move forward in this case, East Precinct officers and detectives blocked off the road in this area where Trent's truck stopped for almost 2 hours this morning. They narrowed traffic down to just one lane, trying to find drivers who may have heard or seen anything back on that morning when Trent was shot. Trent had been driving home from work that morning. Now his family, who lives in East Tennessee, is longing for answers. They've even come out to the crash scene to look for evidence themselves, and they've also offered up a reward. You can win in total an $11,000 reward if you have any information that might lead to an arrest and conviction of the person that shot Trent. Now, back out here, you can see that there is some kind of a memorial. There's actually a cross behind this sign and a big sign with Trent's face on it advertising that reward for information. The number to call Crime Stoppers is 615-74-CRIME. In Nashville, Sophie Nielsen Holding, News Channel 5.